I feel like I just cracked the code on something extremely important for us girls. Okay, what if I told you that you don't need another self help book? You need to become the main character of your story. I'm Belen Jimenez, and this is Good Girl Complex, space for the girls that were taught to keep it all together, stay small, and call it love. This is where we unlearn the pressure to be perfect and learn to reconnect with our voice. You are on the same journey. Welcome. Today's episode is a really fun episode because we're gonna dive into why are we not living as the main character of our stories? Why are we playing supporting roles in our own story? Why? I don't get it. How do we move away from that? I got married recently. I don't know if you know this. It hasn't really been a year yet, but it's a whole new chapter of life. Nothing really changed much. It just becomes real. Like, okay, we committed to this thing for real. Literally one of the most beautiful things I think that we get to experience is marriage. Marrying your best friend. And I bring out marriage because I think for a lot of women, especially if you're raised traditionally, marriage is sort of like the end goal for you, or like that's like your life kind of like stops at marriage, and then you start living for everyone else, like your kids, your husband, family, community, and like you forget about yourself, right? I think we women have been conditioned since really little to sort of take that role, especially when we get married and we forget about ourselves. Whoever made that rule didn't do it for us women. Let me tell you that. But I also just want to say that no, that doesn't really have to be the way. You get to pick the way. Tradition is beautiful, but it's only the beginning of. It's sort of like the beginning of what your story can look like. It's almost like I see tradition as sort of like someone already set this planner for you to make life a little easier, and you basically start checking points, right? Checking off points, but you make the whole journey your own. It doesn't have to be a straight journey. It could be an up and down. You go in different ways. Like it's different for everybody, and that's fine. That's okay. We are so different. We are complex human beings. There's no just one way for all of us. There's so many different ways. I'm looking around because oh my God, there's a fly and it's literally late at night. So I was talking about tradition being the thing. So basically when you get married, marriage is part of your journey, is part of your story. It's not meant to be the full story of your life. It's not meant to be where your story ends. It's just part of your story. It's a beautiful part and a big part of your story. Married women are allowed to keep on dreaming, keep on experimenting life, meeting a bunch of different versions of themselves, because the truth is we are pretty young still, right? There is so much that we're going to continue to learn. Like motherhood's going to teach us a bunch of stuff. The more my relationship with my husband grows, the more I'm going to learn about even myself. Like there is so much that I'm going to learn through marriage, but it's not sort of like the only thing. I still have ambitions. I love this traditional sort of journey, of marriage, but I'm still allowed to have ambition. That's fine. Like if you want to sort of get married and dedicate your full life to that, that's beautiful, right? But if you are someone that wants to be married and then you have a career and you have goals, it's also beautiful. And if you even are the kind of person where you want to see one career and that's your purpose, that's okay too. That's your path. If you chose it, if it makes you happy, completely fine. There are people that are sort of like nomads that what fulfills them is literally travel all around the world. They just love that lifestyle. That is them, and that is beautiful. That makes them happy. So basically what I'm saying here is like there's just a bunch of different ways to do life. There's no one right way. There's one traditional way, but even that traditional way is not the same for everyone. Like we are such a complex beings. And I think we need to understand that instead of sort of putting so much pressure. I think women have so much pressure. You're not sort of picked by someone or chosen before 30th. You are sort of a failure. Your time is running out. Your biological clock is running out. And we're basically just freaking out because we basically put all of our validation as women on just being chosen, being picked by someone, being good enough so someone could pick us, right? And it's really sad that we are sort of conditioned to think that way. That's called the good girl conditioning, and I think it's something women have been fighting for a really long time. And it's still here with us. I'm struggling with it. It's sort of like the people pleaser. Like we were sort of like raised to self-abandon, to self-sacrifice, and we're just praised and put into a pedestal. The more you self-sacrifice, the more you're sort of raised into a pedestal, and then everybody sort of think you're like these amazing women. That's how I felt. So I started to believe that honestly that was the way to go for me. Like the more I sort of self-sacrifice for others, put them first, the more I was sort of admired for it. And I think that's really toxic. I think it's extremely toxic. And I think that's why a lot of women, when they get married, they have this shame, they have this guilt, and they have children, and they, even if they just want to go and, I don't know, get their nails done or maybe go work out, they feel extremely guilty because they feel so much pressure. Like, am I actually, do I not care enough to be around my kids and my husband all the time? Just because they want that little bit of time for themselves. It was like it's a very toxic, and it's a really ugly mentality that we kind of have to get out of, because women deserve to be the main character of their stories. Having children, a husband, being married is just part of the journey. It's a beautiful part of the journey for us, but that's not who we fully are. That's the reason why you look at women that put their whole identity into sort of like their children. Whenever the kids are ready to leave to college, they have this crazy grief because basically they were taught that they were only valuable if they care for others, if they were valuable for others, if they did things for others. So the minute the kids leave, they have no purpose. They have no value. And I think us women have just always thought to find our values outside of ourselves. That is the reason why we don't play the main character in our stories. We have been told a lie the whole time, that we were valuable for what we did for others, or it's all external. It's what you do for others or the way you look, for example. The more prettier, the more kept up you are, the more put together you are, the more valuable you are, for others, for men, and even, yeah, the more valuable you are. And the truth is, we do live in a men's world still. So, and they are a lot of privileges, pretty privilege, and all these different things, the way you're treated. I'm not even going to lie about this. It is the truth, right? So, obviously, women benefit from that. But then we start to put all of our identity on our looks and what we do for others. All of that is external from ourselves. We don't even know ourselves. All of our identity is on other external things. So the minute you aging is actually women's worst enemy, it seems, right? I'm freaking out. Like, I have a couple lines and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm ugly. Like, that's what I think. I'm so scared of aging, and it shouldn't be like that, because actually aging is a gift. It's another day you get to live, and it's beautiful. And I just wished we were sort of taught these things instead of putting all of our identity on vanity and on what we do for others, because we are way more than that. Also, how we are sort of like glorified. You know what I said before: the sweeter you are, the softer you are, the more accommodating you are. Oh, you are literally, I'm just gonna glorify you. And the truth is that it just seems like those words are sort of innocent. They are so toxic. Whenever I hear someone telling their kids or the little girls like certain things, I get triggered because I know how damaging those things would be for girls. Why don't we try to give girls different compliments than just like, oh, nice, sweet girl, good girl? Why don't we try to give girls different compliments like, you're smart, you're strong, you're brave, you're a hard worker? I don't know, just like different compliments, when the girl falls down, you're like, oh my gosh, be so careful. Don't ever fall again. If a man falls down, they're like, oh, you'll be fine. Case is so different. She will be fine too. Why do we have to instill so much fear on little girls? Yeah, it's insane to me. But all of those things, all of that behavior makes women immediately sort of conditioned to step into a supporting role in their own lives. You're just a supporting character in your own story. You're not the main character till you wake up. And if you notice something, there's no one good girl or one nice girl that has ever made history. That should tell you everything. Everything. Even nuns, when I think about it, like there's this lady that I kind of look up to, or I love her story, Mother Cabrini, for example. She's the first American saint, and she was an immigrant from Italy. They were just considered sort of, they were the illegals of that time. And so Mother Cabrini was sent by the Pope, but she had to fight her way into her mission with even the Vatican and Rome. Priests, the government, politicians, they make her life impossible. Kids were dying. Like, she was also sick, but although she was sick, she had her mission and she did not give up. She tried so hard, and she got God on her back. And she did not give up. I don't know how many years it took her to help those kids to build the biggest hospital, I believe in. I don't know if it's New York, or I'm not sure. But she didn't only do something for those kids, she also did things for the community, for everyone in New York. So she has like a really insane story, but she had to fight really hard for that. She had to fight so hard for that. She had to step into her calling. She had to play the main character of her story. No one believed in her. People made her life impossible. Like, literally, they wanted to ruin her, and she just did not give up. So imagine if that woman was able to do all of that. She was an immigrant woman. Her story is beautiful. And another thing also, when I see people stepping into their main character role, and the reason why I talk about moms and I talk about marriage is because the reason why I wanted to do this episode is because I had a couple conversations with my mom, and she literally had children so young. She had 4 kids and kind of raised us all on her own. Single mom type of thing, you know. It was a lot of self-sacrifice, and yeah, just pretty freaking hard life. If you are a single mom, if you were raised by a single mom, praise that woman. Single moms are my hero. You know, they are just so special, so strong, so resilient. Just imagine just doing it on your own. I cannot imagine. Of course, my dad was there too, but he worked so much. He was really never around. And yeah, she kind of like raised us on her own. And until now, she's on her 50s. We're all grown ups. She still carry with us like the burden of like, she doesn't almost like feel that she is allowed to sort of like just live life for herself. It's always like, I gotta make sure like you guys are good first before I even think about myself. Until now, and we're all grown ups. And she doesn't feel like she gets to play the main character on her story. Like, she's just living for us, you know? And I can tell that her heart longs for more, because the one thing that she have always told me is like, I've lived my life for others. I never even had a girl's trip in my life. And to be quite honest, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I judge her for wanting to do something for herself. I judge my mom. I thought it was selfish, because I don't know why. For some reason, I thought that moms were just here to sort of live for us forever, and if they wanted anything else, then they were selfish and or irresponsible. And it's so sad that it took me literally 30 years of my life, 32 years, to finally understand that my mom is just a girl. She's just a woman, and she wants to be the main character of her story. I can finally see her. I know, maybe once I become a mom, I'm going to act the same exact way, but I just have a lot of compassion for her. Also for dads. Honestly, we kids, we can be a lot. I bring that up because I see it a lot in moms, and they always live for others. We really take them for granted because why? Because they've always been so kind. So we know that no matter what we do, we remember about them today or not. Like they will be right there for us. So we don't value them. It's like the analogy of the Honda Civic and the Ferrari, right? I think all of us should try to become the Ferrari in our lives so other people can learn to sort of appreciate us because the Ferrari, people appreciate a Ferrari more than the Honda Civic because a Ferrari takes a lot of to maintain, is expensive. It probably took you a while to be able to get that car. And the Honda Civic is just something, probably was your first car. So you take them for granted. It's there for you, it's working, have taken you to places everywhere. But you take it for granted because it didn't cost you that hard to get it. The Ferrari is someone that loves themselves. And the Honda Civic is sort of like a passive person that is sort of like a people pleaser. She's just sort of living life and breathing because air is free and she's sort of a follower, right? There's nothing wrong with that if you like that stuff, but just know that people are probably going to take you for granted. Um, we should all strive to become Ferraris. And that doesn't mean, oh my God, be super exclusive, only ask for these super expensive things. I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about the value that your character holds, your actual value as a human being, your heart. And for us to have value as human beings, we need to learn to love ourselves, respect ourselves, understand ourselves. I learned now that I'm in my 30s that I'm only going to be loved as much as I love myself. I'm only going to be understood as much as I understand myself. And I'm only going to be respected as much as I respect myself. If I don't know myself, if I don't love myself, no one will know how to love me because I don't even love myself. So that's why I actually think that, life is a journey and we have all of these beautiful things that we are going to get to experience. But the most important thing that we all have to learn to do is to get to know ourselves. And that's, I think, probably a whole life journey, right? Get to love yourself, get to know yourself, get to be happy with the person that you are, with the choices that you make, be proud of yourself. Because the person that's with you actually 24/7, forever, you don't get to get away from that person ever. Yourself, your thoughts, the things you think about yourself. So those are the most important things. So this is what I'm going to tell you. For you to step into the main character of your story, you need to love yourself so much that you are willing to marry yourself. I know that sounds kind of extreme and maybe narcissistic, but it's not. Learn to love yourself so much so then anybody that comes into your life have to immediately love you back and respect you. When you love yourself, you immediately filter all the ugly things in the world, all the people that want to just use you and abuse you, you filter that out. And you also probably attract people that also love themselves, right? So I think that's what we need to do to step into our main character role. If you look at something, for example, you look at people that you admire, do you think any of them are on their supporting role? No, they are not. They are all main characters in their stories. Every single one of them. And sometimes maybe if you look even closer, you notice that those people, the main character people, they are surrounded by supporting role people, right? By the supporting actors. There's like the main character surrounded by people pleasers, surrounded by people that are passive, people that play safe, love to be on their comfort zone. And the truth is, most of us, till we decide to finally take a step into ourselves, are on the role of the passive person. Why? Because of all the fears. All of us go through this at some point in our lives. I have been a people pleaser most of my life. I play safe so many times. I've been brave, but then I also play safe so many times. And the more you start sort of to feeding onto the fears that the world puts onto you, or the lies, for example, oh, you don't deserve to be here, I'm more worthy than you because blah, 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 you have enough. All those lies that kept on getting into our brains, basically keep us passive, keep us being in a supporting role. And we're in our own stories, but we're sort of like the supporting role, the supporting actress or actor in our own stories. I don't like that. I don't even think guys like that, to be honest. I think guys these days, they don't really like that kind of girl anymore. And they're so easy to control. That's one thing I'm going to tell you. Those people are easy to control. Nothing worthy in life comes easy. Not even your relationships. Even when you commit to marry somebody, you have to still work on your relationship. You have to grow and nurture the relationship. It's a long life journey. You have to learn to communicate. You have to compromise a bunch of stuff, and like it's a responsibility that you take. None of the good stuff in life is meant to be easy. How are we going to grow if everything is so easy? We're actually made to go look for what we want. We are capable to do those things, and we just need to go and do it. And we need to be consistent, and we need to work hard. There is no other way. There is no cheat code to life. There just isn't. And I'm sorry if someone lied to you. Even people that sort of want to win the lottery, these people study those things and pursue it for years before they even win. So it's just like, I don't know. I think we have been lied sometimes, maybe with social media when people like blow up and stuff. So we need to put on the work. We need to become responsible for our choices. I think the world will be a better place if we all could just be extremely responsible of our choices. And instead of being the passive people, you know who said this? Albert Einstein actually said, the future will not be destroyed by nuclear bombs. The future will be destroyed by passive people. And now I understand what he meant. Passive people are usually the followers, the ones that just sort of believe anything. Like whatever I'm telling you right now, please go educate yourself. Passive people are usually not educated. They just follow. They just believe anything blindly without even asking any questions. And I believe what he said. The world will be destroyed by the passive. We don't get anywhere as passive people, not even with our health. We need to be proactive. We need to become proactive human beings with our health, with our relationships, with our careers, with absolutely everything. Be ahead of it. Be ahead of the game. Be ahead of your health. Don't wait for you to get sick before you go get checked at the doctor. Be proactive. Yeah, so all of these things is just, we need to be proactive. And that's why I don't really love religion, because the truth is, I think it makes a lot of passive people. And I'm just learning to be a more proactive person in every single area in my life. That's how you start taking a hold of your life, being proactive, actually being responsible for your own life. That's what it is. Don't give the responsibility to your husband, to your children, to your parents, even to God. Don't do none of that. You have the responsibility of your own life. And if we all humans were able to be responsible for our own lives, we'll make better choices. We're just not as educated yet. Maybe in the future, every person will be educated enough so we'll make better choices. But we're just not there yet. And that's why religion is a big part of our society, because the truth is that people need it. They need that at this time. When I picture sort of like a girl in their good girl conditioning, the nice girl, what reminds me of? It reminds me of a beautiful bird that's inside of a really expensive golden cage. A bird in a cage, right? And that bird is beautiful. She can fly, but she doesn't fly. She also sings beautiful melodies. Actually, everybody around the cage admires that girl. But the girl is waiting for the validation of others. The bird is waiting for someone to come into that cage and tell her, come, let me teach you how to fly. Let me grab your hand. Let's go together. And then she realizes that the door of the cage was open the whole time. And she decides to fly. She decides to sing her own songs and to fly. That's what the good girl reminds me of. It's a little girl in a cage. Or there is this one book that I love. His author, his name is Wayne Dyer. He changed my life, and he's one of my favorite authors of all times. He passed already. He also made this one movie called The Shift, where there was a bunch of families living their own lives, different socioeconomic status, and they all are living their different lives, until they get sort of like their spiritual encounters, and then that changes their perspective or how thankful they are or the things that they have. They take things for granted. And basically, at the end of the whole movie, he says, don't die with your music still in you, which is the whole thing of become the main character of your story. Don't die with your music inside of you. These quote have run my life and I forgot about it, but this is the reason why I'm here today. So basically, he's saying that every person comes with a song to sing. Basically, we're all the writers of our stories and we have a story to tell. We all have a very special story to tell. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your religion is, your economic status. You can be anywhere, it does not matter. Every single person has the same value and we all have a story to tell. So basically, our life journey, our life goal is to sort of sing that song that each of us came with. We all have to sing that song. And the sad thing is that a lot of us go through life playing the passive role and we never get to sing our songs. Step up, take responsibility over your choices. I know it's not easy. I know that there's a lot of unlearning to do, a lot of takes bravery, but it is worth it because that's the only way you'll ever feel seen. Another thing is that when you step into your voice, into becoming the main character, a lot of people that were benefiting from you being in the passive role, the supporting role, will not like it. Just be prepared for it. They will not like it because they were benefiting from you being in a passive role. And the truth is that that's not your issue. That's their issue to deal with. We all came here to be the lead roles of our stories. So step up, be brave, unlearn all the limiting beliefs that you have and step into your role. I want to leave you with a couple questions just to think about. Are you living a life that's yours or one that's been entirely shaped by what others expect of you? Do this little exercise whenever you have time, whenever you have a little time with yourself. What would it feel like to just choose yourself today? Just to be with yourself, to do something just for yourself, something that you love. Tell me how you feel when you do it, when you spend some time with yourself and when you just do something for yourself. I love to know, and just remember, you're not behind, you're not broken. We are just learning to come back to ourselves, to trust ourselves. And also remember, the most important message is that we are building bridges. So girls that feel like us don't have to work so hard to walk into a room and feel like they belong. They will just feel like they belong without even trying. That is the goal. And I know we're not there yet, but I know that day is coming. And it only takes all of us stepping into our voice, believing in ourselves. And until next time, thank you for spending time with me.